Okay, here we go again. Woo woo! Chicken wing!
Oh, I can't believe I haven't made this video yet. You all keep asking, how do you make your... Buffalo Sabres have one of the longest playoff droughts in professional sports history, with the last time they made the playoffs being in 2011. And those 11 years featured plenty of embarrassing losses, feuds with star players, draft busts, and worst of all, angry, disinterested fans. But if this is the type of passion that Buffalo Sabres fans can have for their team when it's been like this for the past 10 plus years, imagine when they're good. This fan base would be absolutely incredible. And we've even seen it. Look at Bill's Mafia jumping on tables and stuff. Like, we know Buffalo can get after it, and they love their teams. But what I'm about to say, I haven't been able to say in a long, long time. I think every other team in the Atlantic Division should be terrified of the Buffalo Sabres. The top dogs in this division either lost some key players and got older and worse, are completely injury-riddled, or are just trying to sleepwalk through the regular season so they can get to the playoffs where it actually matters. Counter that with a young, fast, skilled, hungry team in Buffalo who's got a legit #1 center, one of the best goal scorers in the entire league. Great veteran.
Maybe next season, but I think it's gonna be the 24-25 season where the Buffalo Sabres start getting real good. Bergeron's gone. Some people might say that was a big shock. I think it would just be me. But some people probably thought, oh, Bergeron's starting to catch up to age. Kind of. Probably not at all. Yeah, age is starting to catch up to him. He had just came back from an injury. He would have had just came back from an injury, and if he had come back, it would have not have been a good season. He would probably had gotten injured. That's probably what had gone through his head. And now we're hearing if Patrick Kane becomes a part of the team, which I would think would be cool. I think Patrick Kane, part of the Buffalo Sabres, would be a good deal. You never know. Maybe the Rangers will sign a 3-year deal for $2 million. I don't know.
In scoring in Alex Tuch and Jeff Skinner, two of the best young defensemen in the entire world in Darlene and Power, and a bunch of young, hungry, energized players who are ready to make their mark. I mean, we got J.J. Peterka, Peyton Krebs, Casey Middlestad's probably going to take a step. Dylan Cousins looks like one of the best young players in the game. And don't forget about Matt Savoy and Zach Benson, who look like absolute skill machines, and I think have a chance at cracking the roster this year. And yes, I know in Pekka Luukkonen and in Devin Levi, it's real young in net, and that could really be a problem. But again, that's what the deadline is for. You could always go get a 1B goaltender in the deadline trade market, and that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, Devin Levi shows up and, hey, I'm the goalie that you've been dreaming about. And I know the past few years have been great for Darlene, but I really do think this is the breakout season for number 26 of the Buffalo Sabres. I think after this year, we're going to be talking about him alongside names like Cale Makar, Miro Heiskanen, Charlie McAvoy, and Roman Josi. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who's your breakout player for the Sabres? And where do they finish in the Atlantic Division standings this year? Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Okay. Imagine one of the radio shows is crazy.
So people are DMing me on Twitter and referring me to this guy named Penguins Jesus, who's apparently reporting that Jaromir Jagr and Kyle Dubas are coming together to get 51-year-old Jaromir Jagr back in Pittsburgh. And people are also sending me this clearly Photoshop picture of Jagr, quote-unquote, working out beside Chris Letang. And by the way, this Stone Cold Sid account is a parody account. And a few media outlets are reporting this as a rumor, which I honestly cannot believe. The dude is 51 years old and yes, occasionally still plays for Kladno, but come on, he's not coming back to the NHL as a player. And when he sent out that tweet that he was a free agent a couple of years ago, and he said he would only play home games, he was kidding. He knew he wasn't going to get signed. Come on, guys, you can't be falling for this. I'm making this video because I know that people are actually like, oh my gosh, Yager to the Penguins. As cool as it would be to see a reunion between Yager and the Pens,
if Yarmer Yager came to the Penguins, it would have been like a flashback. Crosby, Letang, Getzel. Without Fleury, the game's kind of empty. But Jari can take his place. Carlson will be joining that gang. And why don't just throw Mario Lemieux in that gang? I'm kidding. But that would be who would be in the group. Maybe not Carlson yet, but yeah. Those would have been the players who would be in the greats. The greats of the Penguins. The greats of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Malkin and Letang here, and this would be a waste of a roster spot here. He can't afford to make this move, even for all the good PR that he would get from it, from Pets fans. This is a type of circus act move that a team like Arizona would do to try to stay relevant, but not a team that has Crosby and Malkin, and they can still compete for a Stanley Cup. And I know there'll be people saying, oh, even at 51 years old, the legend Yager has more talent than half the NHL has. It doesn't work like that, okay? Father Time is undefeated. The body wears out. Doesn't matter how well you train. At 51, he just simply won't be able to keep up with guys who are 23, 24, 25. Now, because Yager is such a freak of nature, if this rumor would have popped up even 3 or 4 years ago, I would have bought it. Because he is, again, such a freak that he could have maybe made it possible then, but now it's too far, man. It's too far away. This isn't like when he left the NHL the first time, and honestly, that was even pretty much a miracle when he came back and was as productive as he was. This just ain't in the cards, guys. Let go of it. If y'all
he's coming back
as an advisor to the Penguins or something one day, but as a player, I hate to say it, he's done for 60. And honestly, he's had a great career. He deserves it. Whenever he decides to hang up the skates officially. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
They're talking about him coming back to the Penguins for a season or something.
He's not going to play the whole season, but he's freaking older than me. There's no way he's coming back. I mean, dude, he was playing when I was like 10. Which means he's got to be 50-something.
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
Yeah. So there's no way he's going to come back and like play. I could see him coming back and maybe playing a game and then retiring as a Penguin. I mean, that's something that people have done.
Yeah.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for Habs fans, welcome. Let's take a trip down memory lane to the 2014 playoffs. Shea Terrien is your coach, and despite only having 3 teeth, he's mean, but he is a good coach who gets a lot out of his players at this time. Piquet Subban is the reigning Norris Trophy winner and is playing the best hockey of his career, bar none. And alongside Carey Price, who basically carried Team Canada to the 2014 gold medal, those two are the faces of the franchise for the Bleu Blanc Rouge. And yes, you have some high-flying young guns up front. Brendan Gallagher burst onto the scene last year and honestly has become a fan favorite already in Montreal. And last year's third overall pick, Alex Galchenyuk, he's the future face of the franchise, right? He's the next Alex Kovalev, even wears his number. And don't forget about Max Pacioretty, who's emerging as one of the NHL's best pure goal scorers. And may I present to you your number one center, the little train engine that could, David Desharnais. Oh yeah, and we picked up superstar Thomas Vanek from the Islanders at the deadline. In round 1, the Habs take care of Tampa Bay with ease. That's the series where Piquet Subban shows Andre Palat how to do a Cirque du Soleil move behind the net. Price was phenomenal, and an unsung playoff hero, Rene Bourque, begins to emerge. Round 2 is scary. Not only do the Bruins have Lucic, Marchand, Bergeron, Chara, and Krejci, They've also added Jerome McGinley. Oh boy. Everyone remembers P.K. Subban's famous breakaway goal here. Honestly, probably one of the most famous goals in Habs history. Luis mops Milan Lucic's famous chest pound, and in the handshake line afterwards, Lucic definitely wasn't telling him about church on Sunday. Regardless, the Habs move on, P.K. Subban kisses Pierre Maguire, and this team is starting to look real magical. And to me, this is when Habs fans started to say, whoa, we got a shot at the cup here. Game 1, round 3, Martin St. Louis and the New York Rangers are in town. How ironic is that? Chris Kreider flies into Carey Price, and Carey is out. And yes, Habs fans were mad at this point, of course, but more than that, I just felt an entire fan base just deflate. Like, come on, you're joking. The one guy we cannot lose right now. The Rangers would go on to blow out the Habs in that game. Dustin Tokarski came in to replace Carey Price, and honestly, with all that pressure, I think he did a fine job. But then we had that famous Mother's Day game. He was great in this series. But the Rangers would knock off the Habs in 6 games to go meet the LA Kings in the Stanley Cup Final, who they lost to. But even all these years later, I hear this a ton from Habs fans. Chris Kreider stole that cup from us with what he did to Carey Price. And honestly, there's only one position in hockey that can truly steal hockey games. It's the goaltender, and that's what Price was doing a lot of times during that run. So do I think he could have brought them to the Stanley Cup Final and even maybe won a cup for the Montreal Canadiens because of his play alone? Yeah, I do. Patrick Roy literally did it for that franchise a handful of years before.
Okay. Montreal. I've been talking about all kinds of teams. I've talked about Calgary. I've talked about Buffalo. I've talked about the Pens. I've talked about the Rangers. I talked about the chances of Austin and Atlanta becoming a team again. Well, only Austin. Atlanta. Only Atlanta just becoming a team.
But also, Habs fans, you gotta remember, LA was unreal that season. This isn't the, we just squeaked it as an 8 seed and beat all the odds like they did in 2012. They were an absolute juggernaut in that playoff run. Yes, they were down 3-0 to San Jose. Doesn't matter. They were a phenomenal team, a wrecking ball. They would have been the most difficult challenge for the Habs in the playoffs, no doubt. So honestly, who knows? And at least the Habs have that playoff run. It was so much fun. It was phenomenal stuff to watch. Maybe one of my favorite sports playoff runs ever to watch. I'm so glad they have that. And while obviously